compliment the enemy, that's one damn impressive tower. Seizing that as a prize would change everything.
What could possibly be keeping the repair personnel? Oh, greetings. By any chance, did you happen to encounter the repair personnel I dispatched to Resistor Bank 2789B12? Our new JTY-1030 resistor banks are built with enough durability to suffer through a tremendous amount of misuse. But the brutish handling by the Protectorate is too much for it. The misuse is causing moisture uptake, which causes the resistors to give off more heat. In the snow, that means more moisture, which means even more heat. I'm sure you can observe that the problem is cyclical in nature. I don't suppose you'd be willing to aid me in fixing this? It's down in the valley just southwest of the archive. The heat has liquefied all the snow off the glass surface. It is an easy location to observe. Ursopods, Protectorate forces, rogue scrappers, blizzards, mantisaurs, maybe even Auntie's choice forces. Truly a smorgasbord of unfortunate options. In the short term, it's wreaking havoc with the weather and causing small, localized blizzards. Long term, the archive would suffer irreparable damage to multiple systems. Undoubtedly, this would reduce its maximum operations per millisecond. Obviously, this is unacceptable. I loathe that, for now, our actions may aid the Protectorate, but we must protect the archive. Oh, this is most appreciated. Unfortunately, the previous repair personnel took the only repair kit I had on hand. I'll mark the coordinates of the resistor bank on your map, but locating the repair personnel will be up to you. If you find him, you find the kit. I hope. Otherwise, the repair will be most difficult. I'll guide you.
This graft ain't playing well with the cold. My whole damn arm's asleep.
I find your proposed time weak. Unaccountably so.
But going any faster grossly increases the threat of collapse. Burying us beneath the snow benefits no one.
So long as we are operating within the statistical parameters given to us. I see absolutely no reason to delay. Pick up the pace.
Don't bother conversating unless you're prepared to cite your sources.
I suppose I could spare 0.004% of my daily cycle to say hello.
Takes all sorts.
Have you at least determined the cause of the avalanche?
Inconclusive at present. Potential causes for weakened snowpack include mortar fire, a crashed ship, perhaps even a small rift developing.
These temporary indignities of the body are nothing contrasted to the Order's future. Hold. We're presently observing a ceasefire with Auntie's choice, but its duration may be subject to sudden reversal. Would hate for you to get caught in any crossfire. Gathering data on the enemy's movements and behavior. Blizzards raise the degree of difficulty, but that's our problem, not yours. Cloister has been a difficult front, and losing the Archive, first to the invaders and now to the Protectorate, has made it even more painful. Never mind the rifts. If you're looking for a way to help us out, I recommend heading to Laplace's garden. Follow this path and you can't miss it. Avalanche collapsed part of the tunnel to the garden, so the safest path is along the cliffside here. Mind your step.
Lovely day for differential geometry.
Something tells me the Order won't be keen on letting an enemy soldier walk through their gates. Reckon I ought to step away?
Heard that rift near the Ark? Halt! The Oracle Laureate sent ahead to expect someone matching your description. However, he said nothing about admitting questionable allies. Members of Auntie's choice are not permitted inside Laplace's garden. Your companion will have to wait outside.
Huh. If only one of us could have foreseen this situation. But I'll stay back, Commander. Ain't no reason to cause a scene.
You should heed the wisdom of your friend.
Yeah, these hues suit my complexion real good.
As likely as I find that theory, we have rules and regulations for a reason. We are at war, you might have noticed. The Oracle Laureate is our foremost seer, excluding the presiding bishop herself. He oversees the Department of Predictive Analysis, and in so doing keeps the Order on course. Indubitably, Laureate Beckett said to accommodate you as best as possible, but rules are rules. Is this some kind of test? No participants or observants are permitted to discuss Laplace's garden outside its boundaries. You'll discover all you need once inside, after ridding yourself of your problematic auxiliary, of course.
Commander, I'm glad you're just as keen on aligning with Auntie as I am. It's the right choice. What you see is what you get. I suspect the Order would have given you the runaround on a deal. They're nice enough folk, reasonable or like, but they ain't equipped to rule. You saw how they could barely manage a refugee camp, let alone hold the archive. Sure, the folk here don't seem to trust Auntie's choice. But give it time. They'll see the difference between freedom and complete domination soon enough. Just as Tausetti did. No, but I have to hope. Listen, normally I'd take issue with one person playing Kingmaker. That is to say, you and especially the Earth Directorate. But time's too short and the stakes are too high for tribalism. There'll be enough time for that later. For now, we need to ally with someone who can defeat the Protectorate and close the rifts. So whatever you decide, I'll support you. We should move on, unless you've got something for me.
Agent, I have a message for you. On behalf of the Order of the Ascendant and her impermeable wisdom, the presiding bishop Ruth Bassar, welcome to Laplace's garden. The presiding bishop is presently indisposed, but I've been instructed to direct you to the Artificer Laureate for whatever pressing matter has brought you to the garden. She's working in Belvedere Hall's secondary courtyard. Enter the large building at the top of the mesa ahead and follow the first hall on your right. Oh, yes. The vicar did ask me to direct you to him. How positively forgetful of me. He should be waiting for you in Belvedere Hall's main courtyard at the top of the stairs. May all your problems precede solutions.
Is it just me? Or does something seem... Oh, never mind.
I'm cutting you off there, Charles. That's your third conviction today. Welcome to the CAF integration point. Will it be caffeine or convictions today? Convictions are statements which promote personal and professional confidence and well-being, leading to 22.9% more scientific breakthroughs in a given quarter. Interested? Before I can administer your conviction, I need to ask you a question. In what area of your life do you feel you need the most improvement? Personal or professional? Expand on that for me. Oh, well, that's certainly specific. Your contributions to the plan will one day progress beyond increasing the rate of the universe's natural state of entropy. Good. Never forget that you are a valuable factor in the universal equation and necessary to advancing the plan. Now then, a brief conversation is customary following the initial service. I haven't seen you around before. New project appointment? Must be an adjustment, all things considered. Come now, don't tell me you haven't noticed our particular strain of hospitality here in the garden. I can only imagine how odd such an abundance of tranquility and friendliness must seem when contrasted with, well, anywhere else in Arcadia, especially in the middle of a war, and so near active fighting. Almost unfeasible, wouldn't you say?
You know, you do a passable impression of a scientician. Did you grow up near one of our settlements? Have a few years of order training?
I'm quite sure I don't know what you mean.
Oh, I understand you may technically count as a member, but there's a perfunctory element to your articulation. You don't believe in the plan, and you're clearly up to something. She sized you up almost immediately, Commander. Been softly probing you for information. I clocked her the first moment she opened her mouth. Appreciate that. I spent decades undercover with only self-affirmations to assuage my vacillating morale. Well, do I have to shoot up the place? Or will you come clean immediately? Who do you work for, little mole?
By the architect, keep your voice down, please. Even if what you say is true, this isn't a conversation best had amidst present company. Let's talk somewhere more private. Behind the CAF integration point, perhaps? You must be curious why I asked for such a discreet rendezvous. Allow me to whet your appetite for intrigue a little further, shall I? I have adequate reason to believe the Order is conducting a mass experiment on the population of Laplace's garden. You might put down your proverbial hand once you hear the specifics. The Order is not cultivating its perfect, plan-abiding society through careful ideological pruning, as the laureates would have you believe. It's simple pharmacology. Put bluntly, they're regulating the emotions of everyone in Laplace's garden through drugs in the water supply. Why would the Order want to create a society of undistractable little academics whose only desire is to advance the plan? I wonder. I'm limiting my water intake and using other pharmaceuticals to combat the effects. It's not a perfect system, but it works adequately enough. It'd be a lot more difficult to conduct my survey of the garden from outside the garden. Moderate your volume, please! No one here is in any immediate peril. Probably. The Order claims the subjects here supposedly consented to participate, but it was begun prior to the schism with the Protectorate, so who's to say? Regardless, if the Order has made some kind of pharmaceutical breakthrough, imagine how useful it might be to certain parties to know about it in advance. I represent a group of information traders who would pay well to get their hands on a sample of this drug. Interested? So you've heard of us. Good. That makes this easier. My primary task has been to watch the Order. But I'm confident my superiors would agree. Physical proof is of far greater value than mere rumor. All you need to do is enter water reconditioning and collect a sample of the drug. I believe they call it perspective. This passcode will give you access to the main terminal. Watch the guards patrol before making your way into the facility. If worst comes to worst, I wager Laureate Beckett also has a keycard on him, but that might be tricky to lift. Lately, he's been sitting near the fountains, performing his silly little breathing exercises. If he's not there, then he's likely in conference with the presiding bishop. Whatever you do, be discreet. I can't have any laureates asking questions about me. Understood? One more thing before you leave. Outside of work, I have, let's call it an alternative inventory. You'll have to pay, of course, but I'm sure I have something that'll make your job a little easier. And I'd like to offload some of this merchandise. Sounds like a win-win.
Only security personnel are permitted in this booth. Leave. Please. Lift access is currently restricted. Keep moving.
That's one way to become the center of attention.
A visitor. It's for the best that you're talking to me now instead of mid-work. I do seem to have a slight propensity for stabbing randomly with my tools when interrupted, but I suppose that's enough time spinning in the statements column. Speak away. What are you... Beckett. Another prediction that he hasn't seen fit to notify me about. A more cynical exemplar might posit his doing this to be intentional. If you're here, I imagine you aim to petition the presiding bishop for her support, which is hardly a surprise. She is the most important individual in Arcadia. Not if I cannot gauge for certain if you can be trusted. I cannot allow just anyone to wander into Ruth's quarters. But there is something you could do to prove yourself worthy. A myriad of cultists have taken over the settlement of Newton, which is a nearby site of historical but not strategic significance. I want them gone. Once there was a bridge stretching from the settlement to the archive, but it was destroyed by a rift. Best keep your distance should you travel there. I'll withhold my appreciation until this task is complete. May you act within the equation's confines.
We should collect Azza from the ship first. Unless you don't want the benefits of her inside knowledge of the cult.
What is with the anomalous behavior?
If you need to discharge any sputum, I ask you kindly aim such accretions away from my general direction. Thank you. No, not asleep. Merely waiting. I have no idea. Sometime last year, I predetermined an occasion of momentous import would happen today. Right here, at these very coordinates. Unclear. I'm inclined to think this conversation may contain some portentous value, but I'll need to run a few more calculations to be sure. Leslie Beckett, Oracle Laureate, Seer Supreme, leader of the Department of Predictive Analysis, and not terribly good at informal introductions, evidently. Forgive me if I don't shake hands. I prefer to keep my skin microbiome free of exogenetic cells. You understand? But now, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the agent we've been expecting. I knew loitering at this location would yield results. I don't suppose you've stumbled upon any of our excogitation chapels around Cloister by chance? Excogitation chapels are order residencies where one can meditate in solitude on specific theorems relating to the plan. They're scattered all around Cloister. Prior to the war, such focused study led to all manner of breakthroughs, with audio logs routinely kept by the scientician in residence. In these unprecedented times, such logs could harbor hidden wisdom. However, with the war on, I've sadly been unable to get my hands on the last of these recordings. Oh no, I couldn't possibly ask you to endanger yourself by seeking out these logs. Cloister is rather treacherous, and some of the chapels are difficult to reach by design. However, if you happened upon these chapels and recovered these logs, I would most certainly be interested in their contents. By my reckoning, the amount of logs to be collected is 4. You have that? 4. No more, no less. Each chapel should have at least one somewhere inside.
Strange to see all this vacant space after the overcrowding at Matriarch's Mercy. Plenty of room for refugees here. If only the Order administrants got their act together.
Smart researchers patronize the scientician's surplus. Quality goods at
I hope you have good news for me. I knew I had the right person for the job. You've saved me quite the headache. Your reward, as promised. Likewise, I'll remain in the garden a little while longer, but it would be best if we limited contact with one another. No offense. But who knows? The plan mystifies even the greatest minds. Perhaps our paths will intersect again someday.
receive your personalized order prediction yet. I'll admit to a bit of trepidation in regards to opening mine. This is the first one I've received since deployment. Use caution as you progress. There's been reports of personals in the area.
Proceeding to attack.
It appears we've dealt with all of them. Ah, that was a close one.
Soldier, please assess your pain on a variable scale of 1 to 100. 1 being entirely pain-free, and 100 being the... I have many solutions, but none for your problems.
You strike me as someone with a very small body of published work.
You okay? Seem off by a few decimal points.
Do you see these magnificent weapons? They have the greatest destructive potential the Protectorate can bring to bear. Tell me then, why should they not have been installed here?
Not an issue of ammunition or targeting calculation capacity. Is it because of the low ambient temperature on Cloister?
Very astute. The ambient temperature is indeed below a
Excuse me, I don't think you have the authorization. It's fine, but don't give it away. All the items we put into the rift, they've been reconstituted.
But in a state far different from their original configuration. Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Oh, damn it. Referred it to its previous state. Is it a failing of the device or an inevitable effect of the passage of time? Perhaps the architect observed. On rare occasion, the plan provides 2 unknown variables simultaneously. Years of practical data gathering have taught me to simply stand aside and observe quietly.
And that second unknown variable was heavily armed.
Very observant, Assistant Osborne.
Captain. I fear I have a confession to make.
Any colder, I'd be dead. And those Protectorate loudspeakers playing all
Kicked
night
from the
remind
Plaza's
me of
country, sent into war.
Scienties can't even direct their deployment of food drops properly. I suppose I better clean this mess up.
I heard they analyzed these in a lab months ago.
They're almost pure sugar and artificial flavors with virtually no nutritional value.
I read that report, actually. I have a level 1 in chemistry, and I have no idea what most of the artificial compounds in it are. The lab techs refuse to even attempt to consume it.
Seriously?
See? Show your work or shove off.
Seems rather extreme. Are you sure you can't simply unbolt it?
As I already stated, the weather has iced over the bolts. They require the application of concussive force before they can be manipulated.
My poor terminal.
Do I hear hammering from the other stations?
Don't question it. Just be glad I brought a blowtorch.
Hello? Farewell. Thank you for...
Are you there? If you happen to be headed into Protectorate territory, can you keep your lamps open for my scouts? That squad should have reported back hours ago. Are you there? If you happen to be headed into Protectorate territory, can you keep your lamps open for... Stay focused. Keep your head down. Breathe. Type pi to 1,000 digits to comment. I can't go back out there. You have a very non-scholarly look about you. Your shift on the front line is about to start. Bid farewell to the fire.
Well, so it happily applies amid the warmth and freezing temperatures.
Sir, the extra food drop has landed somewhere off target over in Order territory. Exactly where I wanted it.
You've been quite an asset. Fixing pick locks is very expensive. Please stop that.
Rockets. Put a rocket in your pocket and launch your lunch today. Put a rocket in your pocket. Only the most profitable music and honest product endorsements. This is Wireless Free Arcadia, the voice
With their proprietary whisker extraction, pulverized bones means to crack and crunch. We gobble it down and get back to the action. You've done us in 5 between our 10-hour shifts. You know, the assembly line makes for a powerful underground soul. Like our thrusters. This is roasting some fancy full cow. Let's kick on. No, sir. We crack open that's
Hearing good things. I'm behind you 110%. Hey, you there. I got a job that needs doing if you've got the time. It pays, of course. I need help finding some lost supplies. Of course. Wouldn't trust someone who takes a job without knowing about it first. It's like this. The dullards in orbit dropped a slew of pods in the wrong place. One of them has a critical crate of supplies in it. Find it and bring it back. Real simple, see? Star's glad to hear it. I'll mark the drop spot on your map. Good luck.
I seriously question the structural integrity of that bridge. Priority target analyzed. Lay down fire! Adversary vulnerabilities identified. I have a fix on their weaknesses. Check your scopes for combatant analysis.
hoped that sending me into desolation would mend what he saw as wounds in my mind. The first few weeks were horrible. Grief dogging my every step. Nightmares of my murdered colleagues. But then, the nightmares began to ease, and the grief ebbed away. What replaced them is emptiness. The Order speaks of humanity becoming something more, but their words are insufficient speculation. There is nothing more to be. Only dust and death, and rifts. Those rifts, I find the absolute annihilation they offer oddly soothing. Perhaps I will make one last pilgrimage. One last journey on the path from nothing to nowhere.
Welcome to Auntie's Choice. We look forward to your inevitable acquisition.
Welcome, big spender.
Auntie's Choice welcomes you to Forward Operating Base 136, Future Consumer. You should take care in this hostile climb. Risks include inclement weather, hostile animals, risk of collateral damage, leaking uranium, artillery, shrapnel, frostbite, cave-ins, hypothermia, cultists, landmines, long falls, gangrene, damaged electrical equipment, and insect bites. You never know. That's enough for rote greetings. You're not a feckless civilian, or you would have died halfway here, so I'll speak plainly. Cloisters aside, I want off-planet yesterday, with my extremities intact, and that necessitates aid. You do my work for me, I can pay. Some Protectorate jackanapes are holed up on some main routes near here, thereby separating us from the rest of our force. Remove them by any means. Preferably by killing them and scattering their remains to the winds, but so long as they're gone, I don't much care. The sooner you get rid of them, the sooner I can take credit. Clear the Protectorate out from under the bridges and you'll get your pay. Get to fighting or get to dying.
open to ideas. What would you expect that they've done with the archive?
Clearly, they've added more auto-mags. Apparently, they know how to use the archive better than we did.
Poppycock. It can't be that much more fortified than when we were running the place, can it?
Trust me, it is.
Those protectorate scums squeezed us good this time.
Welcome, distinguished consumer, to the front lines of Auntie's Choice. We hope you enjoy your time under our protection.
How do you eat Purpleberry Crunch? Real warriors eat it right from the box.
Stay in line or I'll knock you to the bottom of the org chart.
Never enjoyed removing people from the equation, dear. Although staging accidents was an interesting challenge. I was good at it, too. Probably why I became the head intercessor. I remember this one archivist. Convinced enough peers he was making strides on the equation with pseudoscience about celestial mechanics. But he was delaying it. So he had to go. I joined his lab as a novice assessor. Each day after he retired for the evening, I fudged his observational data by a few decimal points, just enough to throw off his theories. The Mobile combatant scan! Suffered extensive damage, Commander. Check your scope for combatant analysis. Target analyzed. Lay down fire! Adversary vulnerabilities identified. Scan. Standing by to stupefy. I have a fix on their weaknesses. Investigating hostile intent. Adversary vulnerabilities identified. Torpor
Separate camp clear. 2 more and the anti-supply lines will be connected again.
On their weaknesses. Separate camp clear. 1 more and anti-supply lines will be connected again. Up my aggression. Target analyzed. Lay down fire. Light protected camp clear, Commander. We could collect our reward now, if you care. Hostilities are afoot. Check your scope for combatant analysis. To attack. Adversary vulnerabilities identified. On their weaknesses. Stun weapon ready, Commander. We had a device for closing rifts, like the one we found on Praetor.
need to leave. This is a holy site. Non-believers are not welcome. Did you not hear me? You must leave unless you wish to be ushered into perfection before the rest of this architect-forsaken colony. Oh, I'm not accustomed to hearing such. We're usually dismissed as, well, we need not discuss that. But in regards to your entering Newton, that's just not possible. It is blocked by a rift. As I said, the only way to get inside is to offer yourself up to the rift. By being thrown into it, that is. Listen here, I don't appreciate your mockery. Wait, you're serious? This is fantastic. No outsiders ever volunteer for this. Hierarch Wolcott, I need you here. We have someone asking to be allowed the honor of merging with the Rift.
Seriously? Well, this is certainly a glorious day. Let us proceed. But stay close. If you do not, I assure you, my acolytes will drop you where you stand. I must admit, a certain modicum of suspicion. Do not wander too far. My threat of violence is not to be taken lightly.
Investigating hostile intentions.
Glorious dawn! Attack! Let us continue on.
Target and go for torpification. Reviving me is strategically optimal.
I'm coming for... Very cool.
Thank you, dear. Mobilizing. I'll handle this. Check your scope for combatant analysis. Combatant scan. Hostilities are afoot. Scoping out a hostile. Adversary vulnerabilities identified. Target analyzed. Lay down fire. Some of my Order colleagues question whether we can solve the universal equation. Occasionally, I question whether we should solve the equation. Solving it will grant a godlike ability to predict all events. But who determines who ascends to hold that power? Look at our little coterie. Wait! The Protectorate have the entrance to the Archive well fortified. Attacking straight on seems ill-advised. Before we go further, should we discuss a plan?
Is a fellow subject lacking?
Not a bad idea, though I'd also suggest garnering backup.
Report them for mental refreshment post-haste. It's not just a good idea.
The Order desperately want to regain control of the Archive. We could offer to hand it to them later, after we process the data, in exchange for help now.
Dreaming on the job? Mental refreshment centers are there to help you. Don't risk falling prey to imperfect thoughts. Go now.
All right, it's a plan.
We repel invasive elements.
You're back. Was beginning to wonder if you'd gotten buried in a snowdrift. Did you kill those yay-saying bootlickers good? Good. I'm glad I put my faith in someone who can accomplish what needs doing. Here's your reward. Now get along. I'm as likely to be buried alive by my paperwork as the snow outside.
I always find I work best when undistracted. One could say I find the cultist at Newton quite the interruption to my focus. Now, how might we be of use to one another? I shall allow myself a moment of relief. Moment passed. I'd hoped killing the cultists was its own reward. But you may also take this. You've proven yourself well, but we have recently experienced a pivotally important, unforeseen development. One I must meet directly. Can I count on you? One of the satellites comprising the Hyperion web was struck by a wayward craft and crashed on Paradise Island. I need someone to recover an informational component from it. The web is an order-crafted network of information collection satellites. Our would-be Protectorate overlords squandered them as glorified surveillance devices. We actually implanted a backdoor in the web to bring it back under our control, should a circumstance like this arise. But we did not foresee certain Protectorate modifications. But let's not speak of that. Find a way past the Protectorate at the crash site, collect the data, and return it here. Violence is likely, but perhaps you'll find an alternative. Collect the data from the crashed site and return it here. May the odds prevail against your bloody demise.
ratcheting up my aggression. Combatant scan. Torpificator at ready status. Check your scopes for combatant analysis. Medic, please!
I look forward to the reclamation of the Hyperion web. Hopefully you shall facilitate that. Now, how might we be of use to one another? Yes! Excellent! Take that, reductionists! Your horrid little surveillance devices shall finally be used for what their purpose should have been! Don't tell anyone about that outburst, please. Here's something to keep you quiet. Not by a factor of thousands. You'll have to tell me about your scholastic experiences someday, colleague. I've informed the presiding bishop you're coming to speak with her. She can be found in the room off the main stairwell. I'm sure I don't need to say this. But if you even think about bringing harm to Ruth, I shall know. Be on your very, very best behavior.
Your admittance to the Chamber of Conflict Evaluation and Strategic Planning may come at a later date. As
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart. A bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. As I told you in my message, a splinter group was responsible for recruiting your fellow agent and tasking her to perpetrate that heresy. The conviction of those radicals was such that they elected to perish from exposure to Cloister's wilderness to avoid fouling their predictions and my interference. Their interpretation of the data was at odds with mine. I forbade them taking action, to no avail, obviously. I disavowed their actions then, as I do now.
Sure will be some comfort the next time one of my stumps seizes up.
This kind of collateral damage is precisely what I was hoping to avoid. But that is the past. We must look toward the future now. Now then, I gather you already know who I am, but science has shown that good manners strengthen developing relationships by 5.3%. So, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ruth Bassar, third presiding bishop of the Order of the Ascendant, supreme calculator, and, plan willing, the architect of Arcadia's prosperous future. I admit, when I sent my initial message, I did not exactly know who its recipient would be, but I trusted the plan, and lo and behold, it provided you as the solution. Your recent exploits at Greater Tranquility Station have certainly made for compelling reading material. Confronting an assassin, and thereby sparing the delegates' lives before the rift inexplicably destroyed the station? Such a commendable effort is worthy of acknowledgement. If your actions were so easily imitable, then we would not be speaking right now. Accept the credit. However, there's something of even greater import we must discuss. I just received the most curious transmission from Auntie Cleo. She wishes to discuss a partnership of sorts, and I heard you were the source of this plot. I must admit I have significant doubts about colluding with an entity like Auntie's Choice. Why should the Order agree to even entertain the possibility? That was not my question. What is your envisioned outcome for this disputation? I doubt Auntie would see such parity as anything less than a loss, but I confess, I am curious to speak with her directly and hear her, what do they call it? Pitch. Auntie Cleo has already proposed a secure conference room on board the Undisputed Claim for our use. I will await your arrival there to mediate.
Failed to cite her work completely. I worked with presiding Bishop Orlo, you know. Now there was a serious scientician.
I cogitate more efficiently knowing you're on our side.
Oh, hello. Cogitate here often?
Hello, stranger. Mercenary. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Any undue rage you note in my tone is not at all related to the recent coup in my beloved protectorate. I do so dearly love residing in a nest of traitors, waiting for them to capitulate, unable to aid my fellows at home. It is truly a wonderful feeling. I cannot leave. My sovereign-given task is to bring the Order back into the Protectorate fold. But now it seems as if I must also bring the Protectorate into its own fold. One deed at a time, Philo.
Hate is an inaccurate phrase. I find them arrogant and exasperating. Without the Protectorate, this little organization would have no holdings to squat in. I am here because the Sovereign has tasked me with bringing these wayward, pretentious toddlers back into the Protectorate fold. Unfortunately, my time here has taught me that only mass death has the power to change the local hearts and minds. Perhaps enough will be alive to save afterwards. I am not just anyone. The duty of a liaison is of the utmost importance, requiring due diligence and delicacy. Though I suppose it a mite strange that this task fell to me, as I'd urge the vehement tanning of any wayward body bent on disrespecting the Protectorate, which would now include the Protectorate at large. Madness, slandering my beloved sovereign, following that feckless consul, makes my blood boil. I had reason to suspect the consul for some time, but this is beyond the range of simple suspicion. Some subjects had begun to doubt the Sovereign's ability to lead as his father had. But I did not expect them to turn so openly. Anyone who didn't side with the Sovereign will pay, sooner or later. You may count on it. I've proudly served the Protectorate my whole life. Now look at it. Traitors from without, traitors from within. It's enough to make an old man despair. That consul, I never trusted that miserable bastard. His betrayal is so galling, I'd almost care to join the armed forces to bring him to justice myself. But my hands quaver with age, and the Sovereign has tasked me with my own duty. I must see it to completion before all else. Listen, you. The Protectorate does not do delegation. The Protectorate has a will that must be upheld. My presence here is a display of more faith than these fools deserve. Niceties are irrelevant, and likely detrimental to the task at hand. I am here to make the Order see the error of their ways. All other particulates are frivolous.